I'm really happy to be your program chair this year, and I am especially happy to bring representatives from an organization that's near and dear to my heart as our initial presentation. So Maureen Pertil and Jesus Guzman work at the Graton Day Labor Center. Maureen is co-director for programs at the center. She has 10 years of community organizing and development experience, and recently completed her PhD in urban planning at UCLA after studying transformative organizing and citizenship practice of domestic workers. She currently serves on the General Plan Advisory Committee for the city of Sebastopol. And Jesus Guzman is lead organizer and day labor program manager at the center. He is a skilled immigrant and workers' rights organizer and was a founding coordinator of the Sonoma County Dream Coalition, which was instrumental in winning DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. Jesus is an active member of the North Bay Organizing Project's Immigrant Rights Task Force, and I am really pleased to introduce Maureen and Jesus. Welcome.
Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for having us here. My name is Jesus Guzman. I'm the lead organizer for the Graton Day Labor Center, and really excited to be here. And I can't recall many times of being in a space like this in the morning with so much energy. It's very contagious. I love it. So thank you for having us.
I just want to echo that. It's a pleasure to be here. I grew up here in Sebastopol, went to Apple Blossom, Twin Hills, and Annalee, and have the blessed pleasure of being able to return home and live where I grew up. So I'm really happy to also be here with all of you. And I see my old high school principal here, and a couple of our familiar faces, so it's really nice to be with you all.
He has this flip with the detention.
I don't think I got a detention in high school. It was before that.
One thing I was going to mention was I saw some faces in here that I recognize. I did RILA back, I think it was like 2005, 2006, so I saw some faces, 2005, 2006 I think, was when I did RILA, so I saw some faces in here that went out and joined us out there for the week, so that was a very special time in my life, and I actually still have friendships with some of those folks. They told me that at the beginning of RILA, that you'll make friends for life. That's actually been the case so far, so thank you for your work, and that was a very special time in my life, so thank you for that.
So, as Pam shared, we work at the Graton Day Labor Center. Raise your hand if you've been to the Graton Day Labor Center. All right, awesome. So for those of you who aren't aware, the Graton Day Labor Center is a day labor hiring hall and center where we offer comprehensive programming to day labor men and women who do domestic work or house cleaning. And we organized in Graton in 2000-2001 in response to a community need and really a community crisis. For those of us who've lived in Sonoma County for a long time, you might remember, on average there would be anywhere from 50 to 150 day labor, mostly immigrant men, waiting for work on the street corners of Graton. And there was a lot of opinions about that. A lot of people had problems with their presence in Graton. A lot of people had problems with their presence in this country or on the planet for that matter. And a lot of other people had problems with those problems. So there were those conflicts of who belongs, who's part of our community, who has a right to be here, who has a right to work. And the answer is all of us. And so many people in the community of Graton, a diverse group of stakeholders, came together and through, I believe, a 2-year consensus building process, brought together over 25 stakeholders with different opinions along that spectrum, and came to some agreements around starting a day labor center in Graton to address all of these concerns. So currently, we're a worker-led center. We organize with domestic workers and day laborers for the advancement of their rights and dignity as workers, as immigrants, and as members of our community. We offer a hiring process to employers that is fair and transparent, that is rooted in the decisions of the day laborers themselves. So we advocate for both parties, sort of like a speed dating for day labor. And this process has been developed over 13 years of organizing and debate and discussion with the workers and employers. Our vision is to promote healthy communities that value tolerance and respect, so that day laborers, domestic workers, and their families may live and work with justice and dignity. And our direct mission is to advance and protect the human, labor, and civil rights of day laborers, domestic workers, and their families by promoting participatory democratic leadership and worker solidarity, and to develop greater opportunities for employment, health, education, and civic participation. We have a new system for tracking our membership, which Jesus will go into detail, but we started tracking our membership in April of 2013, and since then over 600 day laborer men and women have registered as dues-paying members at the Day Labor Center. Our members are primarily migrating men and women from Latin America, primarily rural Mexico, that speak a variety of indigenous languages as well as Spanish. We also, we think because of recent economic downturn in the United States, have seen a small increase in US-born Latinos, Anglos, folks from the Caribbean, African-American workers, and Asian workers as well. We have about 25 to 60 people signing on a daily basis to look for work, 3 to 5 of whom are women. And because of our work around raising the minimum wage for day labor, the average hourly wage earned by our members is almost $16 an hour. For women, it's a little bit higher. They charge a little bit more for house cleaning. And we have a women's group that also does worker rights and education around Sonoma County, and there's about 100 women that are participants in Almas, which is our women's group. So I'll leave it to Jesus to talk about our programs.
Good morning. Actually, one tidbit about the diversity of our membership. You mentioned that a lot of our folks come from different parts of Mexico and speak indigenous languages as well. Somebody mentioned a joke the other day about taking an English class and said, trying to learn English, and some of us haven't even mastered Spanish. They speak their original indigenous language and haven't yet figured out Spanish all that well. English is a whole other step after that, and so something to keep in mind with our folks. So nonetheless, I get to talk about some of the exciting stuff in terms of our programming. So workforce development. I'll go into workforce development a little bit more. I think it's a slide after this. But in terms of our health and well-being, let me just cover briefly what workforce development means. We go into the democratic hiring process, in job skills training, OSHA. I'm sorry? Oh, perfect. So what does our democratic hiring process mean? We take a lot of pride in being a worker-led center. And so being a worker-led center means that the decisions that are made, the day-to-day operations of our center are led by the workers. And so we have assemblies every Tuesday and Saturday that they make decisions from cleanup around the property to a minimum wage campaign that we had, I think, just a couple of months ago. And how the jobs are dispatched to make sure that they're equitable, that it's fair amongst everybody. And that's something that's taken over a 13-year process. So it's constantly evolving and transforming throughout that. Occupational safety and health. I've got to be probably one of a handful of people in this country that is really excited about OSHA. I kid you not. She can tell you I'm serious about it. OSHA's been probably one of the most exciting parts about my job, being at the Labor Center. This past year we rolled out a pilot program for OSHA in which we've run the gamut in terms of OSHA trainings from ergonomics to ditch digging to ladder safety to painting to just about every kind of occupation that workers do, and it's a lot of different kind of jobs. The day laborer on any given week will end up on 5 different job sites doing 5 different kinds of work. Now, I have a lot of respect for these workers because with different employers, different work, that's a lot to have to do in a week, and with that comes risk on the job. And so, considering that many folks have limited access to healthcare, if they get injured on the job, that's going to impact their ability to earn a wage and provide for their family. So OSHA is incredibly important for us and for the workers. And so another reason to be really excited about about occupational health and safety for the workers there. Job skills training, we've got a lot in the works right now in terms of job skills training. What we already provide in terms of things in gardening, whether it's rose spraying or weed whacking, we are just actually rolling out some new partnerships that we're developing with folks over at Permaculture Artisans. That is going to be really, really exciting coming up here in the next few months. And so keep an eye out for that. It's really an exciting partnership we have going on with them. And then marketing and promotion. Some of you all probably gotten some of our flyers at this point. I know we just did Sebastopol a couple times this past week. And so the workers, they're leading this effort, going out into the community, passing out flyers, and make sure that everybody knows about the services available. Workers' rights, again, we start at the very basic in terms of hourly rates, breaks, lunches, and then English instruction. We have, what, about 6 days a week, and 6 days a week that we have English classes, and usually we'll have at least 1 or 2 English classes on any given day. So while workers are waiting for work, they have an opportunity to learn English as well. Life skills, we can go into a whole lot of things in terms of financial literacy, preparing for a job interview. So life skills is another really diverse area that we provide workers for, and legal support, that can be immigration law to traffic ticket to, actually, we'll have a Police Chief Weaver at the center tomorrow. He's been coming out, he's been a phenomenal partner of ours, in which he's come out at least once a month or every other month. He's come out to the center and spoke with the workers about preparing for driver's licenses that are going to be given starting January 1st, and rules of the road, how to be safe while driving. So yeah, we're really thankful to Police Chief Weaver for the work that he's been accomplishing with us. Well, health and well-being. This is a huge part of our programming, and especially in a community like ours that has a limited access to healthcare. There's certain things that run that are really endemic in our community, such as diabetes, and so we really want to provide as much in terms of health and well-being. And it starts with education and prevention, and we have a list up here of some of our partners that we've been working with over the years. Verity, that does domestic violence. Santa Rosa Health Centers that comes out, they just came out and spoke about diabetes. And so we have a lot of partners that come out and join us to do education, as well as some direct services, whether it's health consults that we have, that we work with West County Health Services, and Wendy Wiley, who's, can't say good things about Wendy, she's been with us for a long time, and food distribution, diabetes, and STI screenings, and specific case management as well with workers, and then a health promoter program that one of our staff members who isn't here, Vilma, has been working directly to do a health promoter program. Okay. So one of the really cool things about the Labor Center was that actually early on when the workers were standing out in the corner, it was, as Maureen mentioned, 100 and 150 guys that were standing out there, but there was also women. And so while there was an effort to organize the men into the Labor Center, there was also very much a need to organize a women's group around the kind of work that they do. And a lot of it was around domestic work, and so this group of Almas, Alianza de Mujeres Activas y Solidarias, started, wait, how many years ago? It was pretty early on. Yeah, so it's 9 years running, and Maureen's been instrumental in forming that and advancing that group. And so some of the internal goals that Almas has is personal growth, work, skills, and support at the Labor Center. And then the external goals being building the power of domestic workers with love and developing Almas committees across the county. That's a really exciting new campaign that Almas is taking up to organize more women domestic workers across the county. So, and we'll actually talk about some of the campaigns that were just won. Oh, perfect. Here we go. So, social justice. We can't organize workers without talking about social justice. And so some of the things that we do here at the center are promoting our mission and vision in the broader community, And we do that through either general assemblies in which if anybody would, if folks ever want to come to the center, and I was talking to Pam earlier about this, about doing compost and at the center and education like that with the workers. General assemblies are an excellent opportunity to do that when we congregate everybody and we provide that kind of education to the workers there. And that's general assemblies or almonds meetings as well, and we provide leadership trainings. And now, one of the campaigns that we did I think we spent the last few months doing that we rolled out officially in April, was that we had the same minimum wage for about 8 years, I think. Is that a little over 10? Yeah, it was almost 10 years. So it had been at $12 since, for about 10 years. And understandably so, after we went through some pretty hard economic times, it stayed like that. There wasn't really a way to raise it. We understand that the economy is in such a way that there wasn't any way to raise it, but as the cost of living continued to go up, it was hard for a lot of these folks that are working 1, 2, 3 times a week at $12 an hour, handful of hours a week, to really be able to make a living. And as we know in this county, the cost of living that we have, the expenses that we have, it's incredibly hard, and especially with the work that many of these folks do. I mean, I just mentioned that sometimes a worker can be on 5 different job sites, on 5 different days, with 5 different employers, doing ditch digging, to roofing, to scrubbing floors for somebody just moving out. It's pretty laborious work. And so we went through an extensive campaign internally with the workers to raise the minimum wage, and it was really one of the more exciting parts, one of the more exciting campaigns to be a part of in terms of raising the wages for the workers, really having a fair wage for the work that they do. And another part of that is when we talk about items, when we talk about the fact that there's a lot more men, it's incredibly important for us to talk about also gender equality. And so this is something that we're really excited about over the next few months, continuing to roll that out and implement this programming with the workers there. So some of the affiliations that we have, our national network is NDLA, the National Day Labor Organizing Network, and that brings together other day labor centers from across the country. Day labor centers aren't unique, actually, even to the United States. Day labor centers aren't, I should take a step back, they aren't just unique to Los Angeles or California. There's day labor centers in New Orleans, in Florida, in New York, and there's day labor centers across the world, in South Africa, and in other parts of the world. So day labor centers aren't unique to California. In fact, they're something that has taken place across the world. And we're proud to be partners with the National Day Labor Organizing Network, the California Domestic Workers Coalition as well. And locally, some of you may have heard of the North Bay Organizing Project and our local North Bay Labor Council as well. And some of the campaigns that we've won over the last few years, the California Domestic Worker Bill of Rights. It was the, well, what was it, the 1930s when the last passage of labor laws was accomplished. It excluded domestic workers. And so for the first time in really in 75 years, we're incredibly proud to have been part of a campaign that provided primarily immigrant women an opportunity to be part of an integrated American society with legal labor protection. So that was a huge victory for Almas and for the state. And that was just, what was it, October this past year? So that was big. And then October, there was a flurry of legislation that was passed in Sacramento. It wasn't just the California Domestic Worker Bill of Rights, but the Trust Act that had a clear separation between law enforcement's responsibility in our community as well as immigration customs enforcement, so that federal and local, there was a clear separation there so that local law enforcement can do their job without being confused as being ICE agents as well. And so that increased public safety here in our community, and that was a huge victory here in the state. Driver's licenses, well, that's a campaign that's been going on for years. Ever since that was repealed, what was it? Boy, I can't remember, it was a long time ago. So driver's licenses was a huge victory that we're gearing up for right now.